am Jennifer Igwe. Gather your family, it's time for Newsline. Be ready because we will inundate your screen with stories that capture realities of life and actions that need to be addressed. From the case of a landlord in Lagos whose self-centered action is cutting off drainage channels and aggravating flooding, to the negative implication of fake prophecies and deliverance process in Calabar. Still on fake, there is this perception that many who live in big cities lead fake lives and most times above their means. How true is this? Do you agree? The answers you can only get if you stay tuned. We have an update on the case of a minor who was impregnated by an adult in Maiduguri and consequences of such action. And cultural celebrations that amplify Nigeria's unique heritage and traditions are also on cue, including a feature that amplifies why we need to save the largest mammal on land. Do you know the largest mammal on land? Do you know what creature that is? Stay tuned to find out. But as usual, we will start the news segment, and Elizabeth Omoruyi is waiting in Abuja. Hello, Lizzie. Good to see you, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, and nice to see you too. The ECOWAS Parliament has formed a mediation team to visit Niger Republic and address the crisis resulting from the recent coup d'etat and detention of ousted President Bazoum. The decision was made during the 2023 first virtual extraordinary session held on the 11th to 12th of August, coordinated from the Abuja ECOWAS Parliament. Secretary General of the ECOWAS Parliament presented the Niger Situation report, which focused on the response of the heads of state and pertinent ECOWAS measures. First Deputy Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, Idris Wase, says the committee will consult with the chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, before heading to Niger Republic. The Speaker of the Parliament, Sidi Mohamed Tunis, directs the committee to engage in dialogue with the ECOWAS Authority chairman and formulate mediation strategies within the next 2 days. Still on the Niger crisis, Nigeria's intervention team, comprising prominent Islamic scholars in the country, approved by President Bola Tinubu a few days ago, have met with the coup leaders in Niger, where both parties agreed to intensify the option of dialogue and resolving the political crisis in that country. That team, led by Sheikh Abdullahi Balalau, met with General Abdurrahmane Chani for several hours in Niamey, during which they deliberated on issues including the demand by ECOWAS leaders that President Bazoum be reinstated. In a statement, Sheikh Balalau says the team had told President Tinubu that the position is that the political impasse in Niger be resolved through dialogue, and the visit to Niger was to encourage him and other military leaders behind the coup toward the path of peace. General Chiani says that doors are open to explore diplomacy. Other than that, it is painful that ECOWAS leaders did not hear their side of the matter before issuing ultimatum to quit office. He hinted that they struck to avert an imminent threat that would have affected not only Niger Republic, Nigeria as well. To other security matters, the Defense Headquarters has reacted to a false report stating that the Armed Forces of Nigeria received a request to effect change of leadership of the country. In a statement, Director Defense Information, Brigadier General Tukur Gusau, notes that the Armed Forces never received nor made such declaration at any time to anyone or any group. The Defense Headquarters says the military is comfortable with democracy and remains loyal to the President. The statement adds that the armed forces will continue to defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Meanwhile, Nigerian Air Force aircraft have continued to destroy criminal elements operating in various parts of the country. NAF Director, Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Edward Gapquet, says in the Niger Delta region, airstrikes under Operation Delta Safe targeted an illegal refining site situated southwest of Bile, a coastal town in the Gema local government area of Rivers State. Airstrikes were also extended to an IPOP camp in Ihiala local government area of Anambra State, following intelligence where IPOP elements were planning an impending attack on innocent citizens. Similar airstrikes were also carried out by the air component of Operation Hadinkai at a location about 1.5 kilometers east of Aranye Sambisa Forest. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has carried out intelligence-led operations in Lagos and 4 other states, leading to the arrest of a drug baroness and 4 kingpins. The agency recovered large amounts of tramadol, cocaine and skunk. The suspected syndicates were involved in various drug-related activities, including distribution and production. Meanwhile, the operations also resulted in the confiscation of substantial quantities of illicit substances and the arrest of several individuals involved in the illegal trade. Today is International Youth Day. Despite the growing recognition of the relevance of green skills, available evidence shows shortage of such skills among young people. In this report, Olayin Kaujo takes a look at skills gap and what young people say must be done to address obstacles in line with this year's theme, Green Skills for Youth Towards a Sustainable World.
In 1999, the United Nations General Assembly endorsed the recommendation by the World Conference of Ministers of Youths at Lisbon, where 12th August was declared International Youth Day. And in the last 2 decades, themes for the celebration focused on mental health, intergenerational solidarity, safer spaces for youths, and civic engagement. Today, the world is embarking on a green transition, and the shift towards an environmentally sustainable and climate-friendly world is critical not only in response to the global climate crisis, but also for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals.
It is time, therefore, for all of us here in this room to get united for action.
Stakeholders are concerned and do not want more than 60% of young people to lack skills required to thrive in the green economy by 2030.
Investing in youth education, skills development, and meaningful engagement is imperative.
Please jettison the idea of illegal migration. Look inwards. The solution to your challenges are here in Nigeria.
A successful transition towards a greener world that depends on the development of green skills that will support a sustainable and resource-efficient society is the focus now.
We as young people understand these problems better because these problems actually impact us. Our futures are at stake here. We're also poised with the sustainability eco skills and technology to solve these problems.
We have about 8.4 million jobs that these green skills will create.
Digitalize most of the things that we do.
Since young people must be put at the center of creating positive change in the world, here is what Nigerian youths are advocating for.
Let's also give youth an opportunity to lead and thrive.
There's also need to also impact young people out there with relevant, transferable, whether hard and soft skills.
Providing inclusive education, access to public building, including persons with disability in decision and government-making tables.
And now, the world has just 7 years left to make the SDGs a reality. Olayin Kaujo, NTA News.
Thank you, Olainka. A Nigerian jurist, Justice Tunde Ademola Bakare, has been appointed one of the justices of the bench of Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. The secretary to the Judicial and Legal Services Commission of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court made the announcement. Called to the Nigerian bar in 1993, Justice Bakare became a judge of the Ogun State High Court in 2013. In 2018, he was seconded by the National Judicial Council of Nigeria to provide technical assistance to the judiciary of the Gambia. His exceptional performance during this time led to his retention for an additional 3-year term to end in 2024. attention of the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation has been drawn to the publication in the Sunday Punch, page 6, which reads, FG sets up panel to reconstitute boards of parastatals. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, states clearly that there is no truth in the story as published in the Sunday Punch. Neither has government set up any other committee as alleged to review the resumes of individuals who would fill such board appointments, as stated in the said publication. Also, the reporter inaccurately quoted that 14 agencies were stipulated to have been exempted, whereas the release in question at that time only received the President's approval for 2 agencies, NDLA and NAFDAC. SGF admonishes media practitioners to always cross-check information directly from authorized persons in his office rather than depending on some social media reports. President Bola Tinubu sends best wishes to Reverend Gabriel Olusoji Farombi, General Overseer Emeritus of the renowned Foursquare Gospel Church, as he marks his 85th birthday. In a congratulatory message, the President acknowledges decades of his meritorious service to God and humanity, rendered by Reverend Farombi as the firmest minister of the gospel and his 15 fruitful years as the General Overseer of Foursquare Church in Nigeria, commending his outstanding contributions to the spread and growth of Christianity in Nigeria. The President notes that under the leadership of Reverend Farombi, Foursquare missionary work made positive impacts. Similarly, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu also felicitates with veteran journalist Mr. Ray Eku on the occasion of his 75th birthday. The President assesses Mr. Eku's life as one that is synonymous with the struggle for freedom, democracy and entrenchment of good governance in Nigeria. The President congratulates the doyen of journalism on behalf of the government and people of Nigeria. To Humanitarian Affairs, Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Mustafa Habib Ahmed, says the agency will continue to make provisions for farmers and other vulnerable Nigerians affected by flood. The NEMA boss stated this in Kano State at the distribution of relief items to victims of 2022 flood. Ilyasu Yakubu brings us details.
The distribution of relief items was categorized into 3 segments, from farmers affected by the flood to those who lost household equipment, as well as vulnerable Nigerians in need of assistance. Improved rice seeds, beans, maize, agrochemicals and water pump machines were presented to the affected farmers, and blankets go to those who lost household items, while vulnerable Nigerians got food items. The beneficiaries appreciated the federal government and NEMA for the consign and alleviating their plight. Kano State Deputy Governor Aminu Abdusalam promised to ensure equitable distribution of the items to the beneficiaries.
I would like to call upon all the beneficiaries of this gesture to judiciously use the items in a manner that will be fruitful.
Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Mustafa Habib Ahmed said, though the agency cannot compensate victims for their losses, however, the donation is to serve as a support to alleviate the sufferings of the victims.
This intervention is also expected to drive the sustainable socio-economic resilience of the targeted, most vulnerable individuals.
The program is expected to cover the 36 states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. From Kano, Ilyasu Yakubu, NTA News.
A bit on politics, the National Executive Committee of the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, has affirmed the expulsion of party chairmen for Delta and Ogun states. Suspension of 7 other state chairmen also approved at the emergency NEC meeting which held in Abuja. David Ire reports.
The emergency meeting was mainly to formalize the restructuring process of the party to attract more members. The National Executive Committee is particularly disturbed that some members at the state level were becoming major obstacles to the progress of the party, hence the need to wield the big stick and get some chairmen replaced.
We are duty-bound as progressive of our resolutions so that we can change the narratives. Let me again assure you that we can only build on a party performance of our lasting outing at the general election only if we work together as a strong and formidable team.
National Secretary of the party, Dikbo Olayuku, is satisfied with the attendance of INEC officials to the meeting and called for adherence to the party's constitution by state leaders.
The party embarked on restructuring, geared towards correcting the anomalies noticed in the last general elections, with a view to positioning the party for greater heights as we trudge on.
The NEC also passed a vote of confidence on the NWC and the national leader of the party, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. In Abuja, David Ire, NTA News.
Talking sports, World Athletics reacts after news of Toby Amuson's clearance for Budapest 2023, just as Anthony Joshua set sight on next opponent. Details with Bade Adeleye owns. The Director General of NTA, Saliu Abdulhamid Dembos, describes late former Executive Director, State Operation and Marketing of NTA, Haman Bello Hassan, as a devoted leader who contributed positively to the development of the largest television network in Africa. The Director General said this when he visited the family of the deceased in Kaduna. Mohammed Omar Ajingi reports.
The Director General of the NTA was at the residence of late Haman Bello Hassan, the former Commissioner of Information of the Demgongola State and former Executive Director, State Operations and Marketing of the NTA, to sympathize with the family of the death of a father and a mentor to him. The Director General Saliu Abdulhamid Dembos says the death is a personal loss to him, the family and the entire NTA.
To me personally, he's a father. He's one that has really guided me through life, and I have learned a lot from him. And one can only say that may the Almighty Allah grant him a Jannatul Firdaus and also give the family and of course the entire family of NTA the fortitude to bear the loss.
Other sympathizers at the residence of the deceased said the death of a loved one is painful, but they must thank Allah for the kind of peaceful life that Haman Bello Hassan had lived, of dedicating most of his time in worshipping Allah.
He was kind, he was humble, he was generous. Before taking him to the graveyard, I've never seen what happened there. The Imam took time talking about him. This is a very gentleman, this is a very nice man, we're always together. He has never seen somebody as nice as him. That's what everybody keeps saying.
Late Haman Bello Hassan left behind a wife and 5 children. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
The death has occurred of Dr. Joseph Aisha Modara Itoto Godo, the only surviving member of a police escort that arrested the duo of Ishola, Uyenusi and Mighty Joe, 2 notorious armed robbers who unleashed terror on residents of Lagos in the 70s. Dr. Itoto Godo passed on Wednesday at the age of 89 following a brief illness. He is survived by his children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Among them is Christian Ogodo of Arise News Television. Details of burial will be made public by the family. Well, it has been very wet here at the Federal Capital Territory today.
Stay protected from
Thanks for being there. Now, it is common knowledge that many people seek deliverance, especially spiritually, through various means, depending on their belief systems and mode of worship. When one professes the Christian faith, for example, spiritual services like prophecies and deliverance functions would be expected to conform with biblical provisions. However, when the supernatural takes place in an extraordinary manner, like the case of victims of alleged fake prophecies and deliverance process, it becomes questionable. To unravel the mystery behind the story for Newsline is our reporter, Maureen Leo Ajom.
Kalu Onoha is a young man in his early 40s who says he has survived stroke and still managing the condition. Kalu attributes his misfortunes to the place of worship where he was a resident pastor for over 7 years until the misfortune in his life. For him, the one he could not contend with was when his sister-in-law opened up to them on how the prophet, who is the founder of the church he is alleging to be behind his misfortunes, gave the supposed fake prophecy.
A sister one day called me. She said this man said she should bring used pad. I said, I don't understand. He said, as she starts her menstruation for the month, she should not discard any of the pad. Anyone she changed, she should stock it. And she did. He decided to take it to the man, but she was frequenting the church without meeting the man.
He started talking about other things, that I was possessed and that I have 4 calories in my private parts, that I'll need someone that is spiritual to remove those calories for me, else I will not be able to conceive when I get married.
As other former members of the church revealed that Kalu's sister-in-law is just one among the many members that experienced similar conditions. Newsline crew went further to contact the prophet of the said church, who declined to appear on camera, but told the crew verbally that all the allegations are false and baseless. However, other church members also speak.
Kalu is the man that Papa loved too much among the members, among the ministers forum. And Papa, when Papa discovered that he began to temper the money, so they removed him.
Every allegation they have is lie and it's fake.
This is the take of a clergyman on the matter.
It is the end time, and so such things will be prevalent.
We just need to be careful, and that is why we have the Bible to guide us. For Christians, for instance, so we don't just follow blindly. It is an act of pedophilia to engage in sexual adventure with a minor for any reason. This has landed 46-year-old Abdullahi Alaji in police net. He was arrested for allegedly putting a 13-year-old orphan in the family way after luring her into the act on a sustained basis. Pauline Kujeva now will take us to Ngomari area of Maiduguri, where the unfortunate incident occurred.
Old auto mechanic who was said to have divorced his wife 10 years ago lured a little farmer who lives around same area where his mechanical garage is located into something she never bargained for.
This is not the first time he's been suspected with such act, as he tried to lure my 9-year-old daughter sometimes ago. I am glad the truth is out.
The auto mechanic who had his way with the innocent girl sustained the act for over a period of 4 months, which eventually resulted to pregnancy.
I was passing one day, then he called me to his shop and forced himself inside me. He had called me to do that 3 times now.
Abdullahi, who admitted to committing the act, confessed that he was using money to lure Falmata, who happens to be an orphan, to have carnal knowledge of her.
She came seeking for money to buy Salah clothes. I told her I have no money. She followed me to my store and leaned on me. Then I forced myself inside her. Now she said she's pregnant and I am ready to marry her.
All thanks to the humanitarian actors and good neighbors who acted to rescue the girl.
The girl is in our custody for now. So after the investigations, I think the man is going to marry the girl. The girl is only 13 years, but because of the pregnancy, there is nothing we can do about it. The only way she can take care of herself and the baby is by marrying the man. We noticed that the pregnancy is 5 months, 10 days. They did a test and scanning. So the case is now with the police. We are waiting for them to finish their investigation, and their human rights, they are also on it.
Abdullahi, who was referred to the police by human rights actors, agreed to marry the girl after delivery, but she turned down the offer that he is too old to be her husband.
very unfortunate incident, and I'm glad she had a voice in the whole thing, and we are monitoring the story. We will keep you posted, and I'm sure authorities are also monitoring as well. Now, the unimaginable zeal demonstrated by Nigerians to leave indelible marks on the Guinness World Record has placed the name of the country on the global map. In sports, 2 Nigerians from Ondo State are the proud holders of records in skipping, but there is a new kid on the block looking to achieve similar feat. Obaloluwa Aregbeshola, popularly known as King of Rope, has uncommon features that would definitely shock the world. Let's join Kende Lamidi as he reveals this prospective world record breaker.
Within the space of a year, Ondo State produced 2 Guinness World Record holders in this playground activity called rope skipping, which was officially introduced into Nigerian sports by a boxing coach in Ondo State Sport Council, Chibusi Okandu, in 2019. Chibusi Okandu is based in Akure, Ondo State, and so the state has been playing a leading role in organizing local and national championships in rope skipping, where world record holders such as Benga Ezekiel, John James, Solomon Philip, and lots of others were discovered. A 16-year-old rope skipper from Ijaku High School, Akure, Ondo State, Benga Ezekiel broke and set a Guinness World Record on 1 foot in 1 minute with 266 skips, while another Ondo State skipper, Solomon Philip, a student of Oyebekun Grammar School, Akure, chartered and set a new Guinness World Record, skipping 153 in 30 seconds. The new skipper in waiting to break another world record is this little boy.
My name is Aregweshola Christian Babaloluwa. I am 5 years old.
With him some months ago when the father brought him to the stadium and he saw other children skipping. And he started crying and the father said, no problem, you're going to join them. So later when the father came, I encouraged the father to bring him along so he can join his fellow children in the training.
Obaloluwa, the youngest skipper to participate in the International Rope Skipping Organization League, Nigerian Rope Skipping Federation Championship, held in Akure, showcased extraordinary skills with his perfect backwards crossover. This earned him the nickname Oba Skipping, meaning King of Rope Skipping. Still in training for Guinness World Record, Obaloluwa hopes to be the youngest rope skipping world record holder, having completed backwards crisscross in 30 seconds and successfully performed double Dutch power for 3 minutes.
In fact, I look forward to seeing him being the youngest to break a rope skipping Guinness World Record. The event he really takes interest in, backward crisscross, happens to be one of the most difficult disciplines in rope skipping, but he does it with ease.
Wow, isn't it fantastic? Imagine all that. I am sure he will break the record, and we're already here cheering him, and we're waiting. We can't wait for him to register. Now, late last week, a section of Zaria Central Mosque in Kaduna collapsed, and a number of families lost loved ones. Hamis Rogo was at the mosque early last year and had a recollection of what the place of worship stands for the entire Muslim community around the world, and the need to have a unique preservation template for the nation's historical monuments.
Zaria city has been iconic. It is an ancient city of heritage, a heritage not tampered by time. Over the last week, the old city has been mourning. One of its iconic monuments, the Muhammad Durugu Mosque, had a section of it caved in and collapsed on worshippers. 12 people lost their lives, several were injured. While the mourning lasts, there are questions of why did it happen and what are the preservation templates on ground. On the face of it, the mosque looks everything but fragile. It is an architectural masterpiece with adornments that reflect the rich Islamic culture in art. It is in fact a World Heritage Site, and thousands from all over the world visit to marvel at its architecture. It is almost 200 years since this mosque opened its doors to worshippers and community service. It has not relented for one day. It was built by Sarkin Zazzau al-Karimu, the third of the Fulani rulers of the area. He especially invited Muhammad Durugu, a man from Tunisia, for the purpose. Muhammad Durugu is a master builder and is called a saint among builders. The central mosque in the area is a testimony of his art. He built yet another mosque in the area at Ungwarda Mademi. For the 2 centuries of this mosque, its original building has not been altered. Granted, there was an expansion in 1972 by Emir Muhammad Aminu because of increased population. Yet the expansion did not touch the old structure. It was a structure made of mud. The entire building and the giant pillars are all mud. Age and weather must have been asking questions of the building. This is the Emir of Zazzau, Ahmed Nuhu Bamali, making his way to the ancient mosque for Friday prayers. The royal institutions are always the custodians of all mosques in their domain, but have an overriding control of central mosques. There is in fact never a distance between a central mosque and an emir's palace. Since his accession to the throne, the emir of Zazzau had tried to sanitize the mosque environment. He removed a Friday market that operated at the perimeter of the palace and the mosque for 50 years to a new site at Amaru. He also speaks of his willingness to embark on the central mosque rehabilitation.
Technically, I can say I have directly and indirectly served this emirate for 39 out of the 45 years of the late emir. So I know the areas that require some improvement, and I know the areas that require some kind of renovation in terms of physical infrastructure. And I know the areas that we have to have a clear paradigm shift, from the past, so that at least we can be part of the contemporary world.
The events of last week will spur the emir to even quicker intervention and greater integrity test of ancient mud buildings. And it is rainy period now, and rainy seasons are always trials for mud buildings, and the ancient township of the north are predominantly mud.
I agree with Hamis Rogo. There should be a template for preservation of such national monuments and structures in that area. Now, on the environment, flooding is a major problem in Lagos due to the coastal nature of the metropolis, and effective drainage system is crucial in addressing the challenge. May not be the solution really, but it is crucial. A scenario where a landlord deliberately constructs a fence and building on the right of way of a canal has changed the landscape of a once dry community in Ojo area of Lagos. As a result of the obstruction, residents are now faced with uncertainties caused by the devastating effects of flooding. Michael Olaleye was in Isasi in Ojo local government area of Lagos, where the landlord's action is closing up a drainage channel.
Peaceful and quiet ambience radiating right from the gates of Diamond Estate in El Shaddai community of Isasi area of Lagos, but down the lanes are deeper worries. This swampy and bushy canal is the bone of contention as effort to expand its base for free flow of water was recently narrowed by a fence built on its right-of-way.
Definitely this will bring a retardation of the flow of the canal, and already we are suffering it because water is coming under ground floor of some of the buildings close to the canal.
The effects are visible from all angles, but already giving sleepless nights to Mr. Lateef Olariwaju, a civil servant with the Nigerian Correctional Service. He is worried that, despite ceding little portion of his land in 2017 to having a wider water channel, the neighbor at the opposite end of the divide is frustrating communal efforts.
What he did, supposedly we also will do it here. How will the water flow? So that is the implication. And another implication is that eventually when the Swan Boogie come, the right way of canal, they will now be parking from our own side to the new fence again, thereby narrowing the canal.
The fence in question did not just divert from the original layout, but has created small spaces for the owner of the building to construct shops, although there are inscriptions suspending the work.
We've been planting here. What you see here is that the people that we gave the design to construct, I use that opportunity to tell them, look, I can make a shop here. It's just a simple logic. I can make shop here. If they can put foundation, I don't even have the money to. You can come here next year. This team may remain here like this.
While truths and diplomacy fails to resolve the issue, the residents feeling the direct impact of the heat at the moment have approached the Lagos State government, appealing for the demolition of the fence.
We have zero tolerance to illegalities of people encroaching within the right of way of our primary or any stormwater drainage channel. If the right of way is X meters and there is anything within that right of way, state government has minded that we take out any illegality within the right of way.
This declaration from the Lagos State government could be the much needed respite from months of uncertainty, and it is believed residents will feel safe again, away from the worry of impending flood.
Lagos is a low-lying state and prone to flooding. So actions that can aggravate perennial flooding is a no-no. And I'm sure authorities will deal with that issue. Time for more messages, more interesting features when we return, so don't go. Africa's leading telecommunications giant, MTN, is now the official broadcast sponsor of the English Premier League on SuperSports. Executives of the company announced this at a live viewing match party in Lagos. Olumide Egutola brings us details of the event.
These are football-loving Nigerians and fans of the English Premier League at the live viewing match party organized by Africa's telecommunications giant, MTN. This is the beginning of Nigeria's #1 5G network, which is the new official broadcast sponsor of English Premier League, EPL, on SuperSport. And the match between Chelsea and Liverpool was just the right atmosphere to launch the partnership.
There's nothing better than having people, young and upwardly mobile people come together over a passion they all enjoy. Football, relax, have a few drinks, discuss, and hey, watch a good game.
Even when they're home, to be able to experience it on multiple screens, MTN really comes with a 5G experience that, you can also kind of watch and have access to football anywhere and anytime with DSTV stream. So we're very much excited about it, and we hope to keep the partnership going, all through the season.
The 2023-2024 EPL season, according to the partners, promised to be more exciting because MTN is set to break more records in terms of innovation and support for athletes and fans, so as to contribute professionally to the development of the nation's sports sector.
We are a brand that is known for innovation, and what we are bringing into EPL experience is innovation and taking it to the next level. And why are we doing this? We are passionate about consumers, we are passionate about customers. We like to follow the things that matters to them, and we know that football is a big thing for all our subscribers across the nation.
One thing about me is I love to interact with people, I love to have fun around my own people, and this is why I'm here. And the fan base is amazing. It's a positive one. It's something that has actually brought a lot of people together.
According to the executives of both parties, the partnership is very important because it shows MTN's continuous efforts in enabling and driving progress in Nigerian sports, especially football.
Goes back to Vicario, they sense that might provide them with an opportunity.
To another kind of culture, a traditional one. Osho-Osogbo Festival has a distinctive feature of promoting the culture and tradition of Oshogbo people. With the climax of the 2023 edition of the festival, Origin, a leading brand of alcoholic blend of African herbs, in line with its tradition, added glamour and flavor to the festival. Joshua Ogunjide was at the Origin Festival Village in Oshogbo, the Osun State capital.
The much anticipated annual Osun Oshogbo Festival reached its grand finale with a spectacular experience presented by Origin, a renowned alcoholic blend of African herbs and fruits at Freedom Park, Oshogbo. Fun seekers relished the distinct flavors of Origin's unique blend of gin, beer, and bitters, embracing the essence of Nigeria and its diverse cultural richness. Excitement reached its peak as the Fuji artist of the night, Arule Taye-Currency, took the stage with soulful Fuji melodies, instilling a profound sense of pride and the audience's cultural identity. A line of indigenous talent also brought an extra layer of authenticity to the night.
A big thankful to Origin for giving us this platform to show our talent. We are deeply rooted.
Actually, I've been having fun. I'm very excited to be here. Thanks for Origin and also Oshogbo. This is my first time although, so I really enjoy it.
Origin bottle, Origin plastic. I like it because I like to drink it.
Many people won prizes such as rice, refrigerators, noodles, and many more in the raffle draw.
So I win the pizza from Origin. So I'm so excited tonight.
Naturally, I like dance from school.
The marketing manager, Mainstream Spirit and RTS, Guinness Nigeria PLC, Uche Onwudiwe, expressed his excitement, stating that Origin represents a celebration of the root, culture, and extraordinary potential of Africans. Prior to the festival, Origin had continued its commitment to the local community with a 4 million naira grant, empowering 40 youths with 1,000 naira each.
The festival, and I like the empowerment aspect. Now, in a remarkable display of love and the bond of Sacred Hearts, the soulful union between Kabir Mohammed Nami and Zara Ibrahim Kuso kindled the power of faith as the young couple tied the knot in holy matrimony in Niger State. Ibrahim Dan Hamidu takes it from here.
The enchanting event unfolded in a mosque where family, friends, and curious onlookers gathered to witness the celebration of unity. Pronouncement of 100,000 naira as dowry, sealed with a prayer, made Kabir and Zahra, husband and wife. After the solemnization in Abuja, the young couple hosted friends, relations, and well-wishers to a befitting reception with much to feast amidst musical entertainment. The bride and groom exchanged heartfelt vows to honor each other.
Let me thank everybody for making this occasion and to say you guys are looking very beautiful and colorful. We pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant you a very blissful marital life.
Blessings and bliss all the way. And still on love stories, Agwara community in Niger State played host to eminent personalities from all walks of life during the wedding solemnization of the son of the Conservator General of the National Park Service, Ibrahim Musa Goni. Fatima Usman is standing by to bring us highlights of the wedding ceremony between Farouk Goni and his heartthrob, Aisha Halidu.
It
was a joyous day for the families of Ibrahim Musa Goni and that of Abba Maigana as they were joined by their kids and kings, family and well-wishers to witness the beginning of another milestone in the lives of their children Farouk and his heartthrob Aisha as they tied the nuptial knot. The pronouncement of 100,000 naira by the representatives of the groom's family in the presence of witnesses marked the beginning of marital joining of the two lovebirds as husband and wife in accordance with the teachings and practice of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The chief imam of Agwara, Malam Muhammad Namari, who presided over the wedding fatia, urged the couple to make Allah the pillar of their home, love and cherish one another, as well as be patient and tolerant of themselves to make their union stand the test of time. And it was time to honor the couple and entertain the guests. The gaily decorated venue of the reception wore a serene look as they performed their first assignment together as husband and wife.
For a stranger, first time coming her, she was very calm and receptive. So that is the bone of the attraction.
What attracted me most to Farouk is very, very intelligent. I learned a lot from him.
Parents and guests gave some tips on how they can sustain their love and live peacefully together in harmony.
May God bring peace into their family, give them the fruit of the womb, and grant them very successful children.
And I pray that anything that they want in this world, by the grace of God, God will give them. And they should be patient in their house.
She should be patient, as I know her, as a very quiet girl, obedient. Let her respect her husband.
They have to live in peace. They have to respect one another.
Live in peace, respect one another, and love all the way. Welcome back. Now we'll start this segment with mental health. Once upon a time, the birth of twins was considered a bad omen, leading to the killing of twins in some parts of the country. And I'm sure some of us remember stories from that time. People with sickle cell disease were not spared as they were tagged abikus or ogbanjes, which means children who come and go in local parlance. Well, all that changed with sensitization and awareness campaign. Sadly, those living with mental health challenges are still groping in the dark for so many years, and it's something that is sad. In this next report, Thekla Wilkie tells us how the Mental Health Act can be the game changer for families and victims with mental health disorder.
Yeah, I was supposed to do exam by Saturday, mathematics, whom the father adopted my services to take her between Wednesday and between Thursday and Friday. During the night of that second day, so the first day, so the second day, you know, I was attacked somehow.
Kola is a 48-year-old native of Oyo State. He was a student of the Obafemi Awolowo University, pursuing a degree in geography when life took a different turn.
I think it was after the 10th year, and when you spend 10 years in the university, they terminate your studentship. So it was after the 10th year that my studentship was terminated.
Kola's case is one version of the many who suffer some form of mental health disorder. In responding to the situation, a Nigerian medical doctor, Senator Ibrahim Oloriegbe, who represented Kwara's Central Senatorial District in the Ninth Assembly, took it upon himself to make a difference. This initiative has changed the course of history of mental health care in Nigeria.
The understanding of Nigeria, of most people, because of our local factor, is that anybody that has mental health is either bewitched or the person has done bad thing, and then the right of that person is taken off from the person. They chain the person, they start beating the person, and it was taken as if it is the norm, which is wrong.
Coming up with a legislative framework to protect the rights of mental health victims seemed like a bridge too far.
It has to do with opportunity cost. You know, the fact is, we had our predecessors who over 30-35 years have been trying to get a modern mental health law for Nigeria to shift us away from that lunacy act of 1914 or 1916 that we inherited from the colonial masters. A very harsh and cruel law that does not really understand the meaning of mental health.
The silver lining was a signing of the Mental Health Act. It became the first mental health legislative document which replaced the Lunacy Act of 1958. It begs the question of why it took so long to finally come up with its legislation.
The process for lawmaking in Nigeria is very tedious. It took a lot of time.
What indeed was a game changer after previous failed attempts?
The Mental Health Act impact would be great for this country. I mean, it's something that, one, now with the law that we have on ground, it means all so-called traditional mental homes where people are treated inhumanly, they've become illegal. And that would mean people that are treated subhumanly, if I can use that word, will stop. That's a great impact because we are returning rights to the life of the people. Of course, secondly, with the establishment of the mental health department, the ministry, once funding is provided for it, we are going to have a mental health system that will serve from primary care up to the national care. And then it means you have a focus.
Implementation remains a major challenge, with funding and manpower topping the list.
We have made some ways. I told you about the 1%, which we say should be 2% now. And this government, the new government want to agree to that, the National Tax Assembly, of considered revenue fund of the federal and all the state government. 2% of the Nigerian money will go for that insurance. But two, we are looking at some other sources. We said they want to remove subsidy for petrol, and there will be some savings. We said a percentage of that should go for health insurance. So these are some of the ones we have identified. And we said the allocation to the health sector should increase to at least 10% of the budget.
The Mental Health Act is no doubt a light in a tunnel. But is it bright enough to help the likes of Kola scale through the solid wall of stigmatization and social exclusion? Only time will tell.
Particular for this feature, strengthening mental health in Nigeria is crucial. Is one aspect we have not been seriously pursuing over the years, and it's good that we're working on it now, never too late. Time for our last commercial break. Newsline will be right back. Thanks for being there. From Yola, we have a story of a 17-year-old senior secondary school student who died during interrogation to investigate his alleged wrongdoing by joint security operatives in Adamawa State. Abdallah Abba Tukru, who was accused of having custody of a stolen mobile phone, was subjected to brutal treatment that resulted in severe bleeding and his death. Bilkisu Abubakar is following the case.
Abdallah Abba Tukuru, who was an SS2 student of Sabiru Roshat Academy Yola, was accused by a neighbor of having custody of an iPhone 7 that was allegedly stolen by a 12-year-old neighbor. When the allegation got to Abdallah and his family, Abdallah insisted that the matter must be reported to the security in order to track the phone to know its whereabouts, because he is not involved in the allegation in any way. They immediately reported the issue and requested for the tracking of the phone at the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps Yola.
The Civil Defense Office called us as parents. We came, we found him there, and then we concluded that we should bring details of the phone so that it's going to be tracked.
However, the neighbor who made the allegation demanded that the phone must be returned and Abdallah must be taken to the joint security operative known as Operation Farauta in Yola, where both the accused persons will be interrogated to frighten them.
And carrying the boy, when they came, he was handcuffed like that. When his boxers beat him thoroughly.
Father of the victim took his son to Modibo Adama University Teaching Hospital Yola, where Abdullah died 4 days after.
Justice all over the world, come and help me. I need justice for my child.
The police in Adamawa State vowed to ensure justice.
2 inspectors and 1 corporal were apprehended, and the command equally intimated the sister security agencies who have their personnel in the joint operations to bring them forth for investigations. That is what the command is now waiting for. It will equally interest you that the man who accused the deceased for receiving the stolen items and decided to report to Operation Farauta instead of reporting to the nearest police station was equally invited to police and is giving useful information with regard to that.
As the family of the victim and indeed Nigerians demand justice for Abdullah, Governor of Adamawa State, Ahmadu Umaru Fintri, ordered the police to ensure thorough investigation for justice to prevail.
Justice must prevail. We are on the story. Now, have you ever seen an elephant live before? I dare say only a few have, probably in zoos that still have them. Many may not be aware of this, that this magnificent creature is facing threats of extinction. For Nigeria, a member of the Elephant Protection Initiative since 2018, not actively joining the global efforts to amplify the need to conserve and save the largest mammal on land is like ignoring the elephant in the room. Pardon the pun. Landrick Bileyi agrees with me. He will give us crucial reasons why we need to save elephants.
I've never seen an elephant live physically. It's only in movies, documentaries, or cartoons. But that's because even my visits to the zoo in Jos, that was in 2017, an elephant was not there. So for me, it would really be a good thing to set my eyes on an elephant. I would be very, happy and excited about the opportunity to see an elephant in Nigeria. Wow, where can I find them? Where are they?
World Elephant Day is an international event marked annually for the protection of elephants. Why? Let's start with the reproductive system of the largest mammal on land. It is slow and intensive, so it takes 22 months for a gestation period. An elephant hardly gives birth to 2 calves at a time, and their sexual maturity is between 14 to 17 years.
Refer to elephant as Ajanaku because of enormous physical appearance. It's not something that it will pass, that people will say we did not see it.
Nigeria has only a few elephants left, and the largest herd can be found at the Yankari Game Reserve in Boji State, and a few in other parks across the country.
The elephant's world is a world of female matriarchs. The grandmother gives a lesson to the daughter, and the daughter gives a lesson to the young ones. Okay. And it's like that. It's really, how can I say? It's really a tradition from grandmother to mother to daughter. And the male also, they respect the older ones, and they live together. It's a very good harmony. Wow. I like elephants. I could speak for hours. I am crazy about elephants. Really?
Despite the low elephant population in Nigeria, factors like illegal hunting, loss of habitat, and human-elephant conflicts at the farmlands threaten their existence.
In the past 4 weeks, we've had 6 elephants that have been killed. It's a shame because it's not helping anyone, and we are losing our elephants.
The socioeconomic value of elephants is unique. These massive herbivore mammals, for instance, are the foundation of a $34 billion tourism industry across Africa.
We need to save elephants, because it will be very sad if one day in the future we have to go to the library to read elephants and tell our children, once upon a time on earth there was a creature called elephant. It's in that picture. So let's work together. And they have important role in the ecosystem as well. Now, living a life worthy of emulation and impacting humanity positively should be the general approach to life. This was a message by Reverend Dogo Gani at the burial service of late Deaconess Victoria Oriade Aromolaron in Lagos. The deceased was the mother of Air Vice Marshal Olayinka Alade, retired. Diana Ajale was at the funeral.
The burial activities at the Nigerian Air Force Protestant Church, Ikeja, was a true reflection that the late Victoria Oriade Aromolaron was indeed a super mom to many who came in contact with her during her lifetime. Officiating Minister Air Commodore Reverend Dogo Gani, whose message centered on memories of the righteous, charged the congregation and Nigerians in general to always imbibe the culture of righteousness.
Live a life that will bring a legacy, that even after you leave, people will say, yes, we are grateful to God to have such a person while he was on earth.
The remains of Victoria Oriade were later interred at the Ikoyi Vault. There, it was time for family, friends, well-wishers, and close associates to say goodbye to the woman many described as a caring mother, devoted Christian, generous donor to worthy causes, a philanthropist well recognized and appreciated in the community where she resided in New Jersey, United States of America.
My sister is a virtuous woman. She is very bold, courageous, and she loves children.
Think back to when I was just growing up, I just saw that she used to just show me so much love. But now I wish she's around so that I'll be talking to her every hour.
She's in the matriarch of the family. She holds everybody together.
Not done yet. A grand reception was also held in her honor, where guests, including serving and retired military personnel, were entertained.
Mama has been, of course, the force behind the success of the family.
Born 25 August 1940 in Aramoko, Ekiti State, Nigeria, to the family of Chief and Madam Michael Adeshekon, late Deaconess Victoria Oriade began her educational career in Akure, Ondo State. She was a beneficiary of Chief Obafemi Awolowo's free education scheme in 1956, where she attended Christ Apostolic Secondary School, Ukioro, Akure. Her quest for knowledge led to her departing Nigeria for the United States of America, where she attended technical school. Upon her return to Nigeria, Deaconess Victoria worked in both public and private firms as a typist, first with the Nigeria Customs Service, then secretary to the Permanent Secretary, Armed Forces Development Project, Dodan Barracks, Obalende, Lagos, before joining Bagudu Construction Company, where she finally retired. Late Mama Victoria died at the age of 82. She left behind children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren.
Yes, so rest in peace. Amen. And there's always a time to begin and a time to end. And for us on Newsline today, we're ending here. So join us again Sunday next week. Good night and God bless Nigeria.